Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's Marcy here again from PNS and Nina. We're so excited to be here with Roger and Bill from Secured. Thank you so much, guys, for coming. We're super excited to do this. I just want to remind everyone the chat's open. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves. We'll drop some fun links in there. If you have any questions, again, please drop them in the Q&A, and I will make sure they get answered as we go. I don't want to take up anybody's time here, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it right over to Team Secured. Welcome, you guys. It's all on you now.
Great. Thank you, Marcy, very much for having us today. This is great for us to present again. I think we did this probably last year in August or so. So
I know we love having you.
Yeah, it's awesome. We appreciate the partnership and working with you and your folks here. So my name is Roger Castile. I will be hosting at least the presentation portion of this. And then Bill Gimbel, who's with me here at Secured Signing, will do a presentation. We have a lot to go over in a short period of time, so I'm going to move fairly quickly. But please keep those questions coming in the chat, and we will do our best to answer all of those as we go through this presentation today in this demonstration. So again, Roger Castile here for those of you just joining, and with Bill Gimbel. We are with Secured Signing, and we are going to focus this presentation today on our remote online notarization application. However, we are also, and started off as an e-signature solution. So it's really two platforms built into one for all of you to use. Just to kind of run through a couple slides here. Of course, we're going to talk a little bit about Secured Signing. We are going to focus on remote online notarization. Going to talk about some new releases and enhancements. Since our last presentation we did back in August of 2023, we have a slew of new releases and enhancements to the platform, which is truly exciting for us and hopefully for you. Going to focus a little bit on the pricing and what that's included in your subscription. Focus just a second or so on our notary community, but really our whole focus is how to build and manage your business. Bill will focus on that demonstration. Of course, we'll do the Q&A throughout this entire presentation. So one of the key things I just want to mention before we get rolling here, with Bill and I'm based in Florida. Bill is based out in our California office. We are growing here in the United States. One of our biggest pieces that we really want to focus on today is that we are here to work together for you, right? So that's the reason why there's two of us on this demonstration today, is just to show the breadth and the depth of our company and our commitment to assisting you as you utilize a platform like Secured Signing. Okay, so just a little bit about it. We are a cloud-based platform using PKI digital signatures. And whether you're an independent notary, a large law firm, our FAA healthcare providers out there, you can utilize this platform no matter how small or how large of a client you might be. There is no restrictions or limitations around that. We have been known as one of the best top 3 digital platforms worldwide. Being a company that's been in business for 14 years, being one of the top 3 best digital signature platforms is, an accomplishment in itself, right? So we're very well known. We are ISO 27001 certified. We are working on our SOC 2 here in the US. We're HIPAA certified. We have our FDA, CFR 21 and Part 11. For those of you that work in the mortgage space, we have gone through our 3rd MISMO certification. We were one of the first platforms out there to go through that. So it's pretty exciting around that. And just to kind of mention about Google, we're rated in the top 3 RON platforms by Google. So, it's super exciting that we continue to grow this business here in the US and have been for many, many years. So I did mention we've been in business since 2010. So 14-year-old company. We have offices in New Zealand, Australia, Great Britain, Arizona, California. I'm here in Florida, and of course, New Jersey. So you'll see we just continue to expand and span as we grow. And of course, with customers in over 45 countries, it just goes to show that not only do we focus here on our US-based clients, but we also have clients all over the globe. So really want to focus on why we're here again. We are here to help you, right? This platform is built for you to manage and run your business, but we're here to help support that, right? We want to make sure that when you're utilizing a platform like Secured Signing, whether it's a remote online notary or an e-signature solution, that we know that we are here to help you build that business. We empower you to utilize a platform according to the way you envision it to run, not the way we want you to do it, but the way you need to run and utilize a platform like ours. And with that, we know what the costs are out there. And one of the benefits of utilizing a platform like secured signing is that it's an affordable platform without a long-term commitment, unless you choose to do so, right? We have a month-to-month plan called our business plan. We have an enterprise level solution for you. We make the plans work for you, okay? We're not trying to stick you into a bucket and make you fit into what we want you to do. We want to work with you and help you build and utilize a platform like us in a cost-effective manner, right? Did mention we're a 14-year-old company, so that just goes to show that we truly understand the industry out there and where everyone is going. Part of our other focus truly is continuing to learn and educate you on how to utilize a platform like secured signing. So not only do we do demonstrations on Wednesdays, which is more of a quick overview of what we're going to be going through today, but on Thursdays, we always offer a class, and that class can last anywhere between an hour to an hour and a half. And we'd love all for you to register if you have a paid account with us, because you're going to learn a lot. The main focus of that class is on remote online notarization, although we will take questions, of course, on our e-signature solution, right? We also have a lot of videos on our website. So we truly want you to take a look at everything that's there. There's more information than you'll probably ever need, but it's always there, and it was built for you to understand. And we also have videos for your clients as well, right? As you're utilizing a platform like secured signing, we also know that you're the expert at it. Your clients might not have ever used a platform like this. So take a look at those videos out there, share them with your clients. It'll make your life a lot easier. And of course, your clients will be much more successful at getting documents signed and you notarizing them.
Roger, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Is there required training for secured signing in order to start the process?
There is not required training. However, practice, practice, practice really makes perfect, right? And
Sure,
so
yeah.
that's kind of our philosophy out there. We do the demonstrations on Wednesdays. We have classes on Thursdays. We have an online self-controlled training session as well. It's 10 videos you watch. You have to answer questions, and then you have to take a little quiz at the end. So we put a lot of thought around self-training and then classes that are live, not recorded, but live training classes to help somebody utilize this platform.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, let's talk about some really cool features around secured signing. We continue to grow, and for those of you that are in the mortgage space, we are approved with all major underwriters out there. Obviously, general notary work can be done through our software. Everything is digitally done. I'll mention we are PKA X509 Federal Bridge Digital Certificate. We manage that to lock the documents down, okay? So some of the other cool features around notarial is that your notarial journal will be stored with us for up to 10 years. Even if you stop using the platform, we're still going to store that journal for you regardless, okay? So you can always log back into secured signing anytime and pull your notarial journal from us, right? You will import your digital stamp into our platform. You'll not only put your stamp, but your digital signature into that platform. Meaning you just, put a picture of your signature in there. We're going to digitize that for you, and then that will be added to all of your documents, right? Obviously, we have knowledge-based authentication. We have ID verification with biometric matching. And one of the unique things around secured signing with ID verification with facial recognition is that you can scan foreign IDs and passports in over 5,000 different types of IDs in over 200 countries. Okay, so that's a little bit different with us. If you look, as you explore other platforms out there, not all of them can do this. Okay, so whether it's a state issued ID, just a state or country issued ID, or a passport, those can be scanned utilizing our software. All right, so that's a key feature around us. Obviously, we tamper-proof every single document, and not only the document, but our signing completion certificate, right? Which is key to, ensuring success with these documents. We offer a Spanish translation, meaning that if you have clients that speak Spanish, you can send the instructions out to your clients in Spanish. And we're currently working on adding French as our next language. But right now it's English and Spanish. We're going to go through our whiteboarding feature here in just a minute, and of course our edit page mode. Okay, so focus on that in just a minute. So those are some of the key features around this software, but you're about to see a lot more.
I just want to interrupt really quickly because I think this is super important, is the Spanish instructions.
Yes.
I just want to make that clear to everyone because you don't see that on a lot of platforms, is that everything that gets sent out typically in the transaction that you see in English to the signers now comes the ability to do it in Spanish. Am I correct in understanding that?
That is
Yes,
correct.
yes,
Go ahead.
Marcy, and all the instructional pop-ups that occurred during a session will appear in Spanish.
Wonderful, thank you. So take note, anyone out there who deals with a lot of individuals who speak Spanish or from Spanish-speaking countries, that that's a huge, huge benefit to you, right? Or if there's someone who speaks maybe, English and Spanish, but they're more comfortable in the Spanish language, that's important to keep in mind too. I wanted to reiterate that. You guys can go ahead and move forward.
I think another cool feature around that is there's also a toggle switch, right? So maybe it started in English and they want to read it in Spanish. There's a toggle switch on there as well. So it really makes it easy for you to switch back and forth in case you click the wrong button, which is really a nice feature. Yeah.
And that is a signer by signer feature, meaning one signer's pop-up instructional elements will be in English and another will be in Spanish. So you can
great.
bifurcate those features. So for better understanding.
Perfect. And then I have one more quick question. When it comes to the document upload, what formats do you guys allow for? PDF, Word documents, JPEGs? Is there a preference?
Yeah, keep the list coming. JPEGs, TIFFs, DICOMs, PDFs, Word, Excel, you name it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So anything that's not a PDF, by the way, we're going to convert that into PDF for you. So that's a really cool feature because, a lot of platforms, you have to put a PDF in there first. Well, we're saying you don't have to. We're going to convert that.
Right, you'll take care of the converting. We don't need to convert it first.
Exactly. And we work with a lot of DICOM files. And for those of you not familiar, those are typically X-rays that are being brought into the platform that need to be reviewed and signed off on, right? And so we convert those, which can be very large files. So we can take just about everything in, up to a 50 meg document. And then when that 50 meg document, convert that to PDF for signature.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, great questions. Thank you. All right. So since most of our population here that's on this call today is in New York, we do want to stress the importance of this for notary location. So this is one of the reasons why we were one of the first approved and for our platform to be utilized in the state of New York, right? So for New York, the application of being in the state and the IP geolocation of the signer and the notary has to be acknowledged. Okay, so we do have users that say they're in New York, but they're not inside or they're not in the state of New York. And obviously you have to acknowledge whether you are or not. And this becomes part of the notarial journal. This becomes part of the log. We track IP address along with that. So it's a very important feature that obviously, is for your records, and it's for the state records as well if they ever need to see that. All right, let's talk about some of the neat features. So not only are we that RON platform, that e-signature solution, but what we really have done is taken our platform to a much different level, right? We work with all of our users out there. When they say they need something, we are our own IT team. We try to build them if it makes sense to do so. So when we work with a lot of our law firms out there, they asked for a feature called whiteboarding. And the purpose of the whiteboarding feature is as you're working with your client or clients to get documents signed, there might be something of importance you want to focus on, right? So now you can actually draw on the top of those documents. You can write on them, you can put an arrow, you can put a circle, you can put a box around something that's important. And it will not manipulate or change those documents, but it's something that's being recorded. So if there's something important, maybe there's a dollar value that needs to be focused on, maybe there's something that has to be signed off on a certain date and time, you can now show that, draw that on the screen, and that becomes part of the recording. So down the road, if there's any discrepancies, you can pull that recording and take a look at it. Again, when you close the whiteboarding feature, it takes that off of the document. So it's just merely an overlay, but it's a phenomenal tool just to have a great conversation with your clients of something of importance. right? We also have some new edit document features. So many of the platforms out there, once you've uploaded the document, you're kind of stuck, you're locked, not secured signing. You can go into the edit mode. You can add pages. You can remove pages of a document. You can move pages around. And you can also add additional documents and make it a package. So that's kind of a key feature. Sometimes you'll upload something that's not important. Maybe it's a cover sheet, or maybe it's a note that doesn't need to be part of the final document. Instead of going outside of the system, you can remove them inside of the system, and makes it much easier to get these documents prepared for signing.
Yeah, and one of the most common features used for edit document is when you upload a doc set, and let's say the acknowledgement is in a venue, let's say Louisiana, that's quite different from yours. You can drop a text box on that document, say, see attached acknowledgement, and then you, in the middle of the signing, can upload your own acknowledgement. So that's a very common use. And I see we had a pop-up question regarding, is this only the platform only in New York? Secured signing it complies with all 42 states notary law provisions. We put that feature in there with regards to New York on Marcy's benefit and for the New York people attending, but that is a feature that's exclusive at this point in time to New York.
Thank you, Bill. All right, just a couple other neat features and then we'll move on. ID proofing. So now when your clients receive an email from you, it'll also now identify whether they need to do some additional work, meaning KBA, ID verification, SMS two-factor authentication before they're allowed to join the signing session. Okay, so either button that they push on there takes them to the same location, but this just kind of takes that stress out of what do I need to do next? A green button, start identity proofing, click to join the meeting, whatever it might be on the email. So one of the neat features around secured signing is there's no applications that have to be downloaded. Your clients can access, if they have email, through their phone, through an iPad or an ePad, an Android or an Apple phone, to sign documents. No applications have to be downloaded at all. Merely just click on that link and follow the instructions in that link, which again, those instructions can go out in Spanish. We also have a new feature called Snapshot. And Snapshot is where you can actually take a picture of something of importance during the live signing session, okay? And what really it's used for is maybe your client forgot to, produce a document. So you have the ability to go ahead and say, hold up that document to the camera. Hold up your driver's license, hold up your, business card, whatever it might be, and you can now take a snapshot of that, and that becomes part of your final document set. It doesn't add it to the documents. It's a separate document in itself, but it's another file that you can keep for long-term storage of something that's important that you might need. Okay. We already focused on the Spanish language, so we'll skip through this piece here. Another feature that we have now in the electronic notarial journal is that either pre or post signing, you can go in now and you can add comments to your journal, right? Because sometimes there's something that might have changed, something of importance that might have been missed. We do have a notes section on there as you're preparing the documents, but now you can go ahead and add additional comments to that notarial journal, which again, we're going to store for you for up to 10 years. It's kind of neat. So folks, I wish I could say we're done with all the features, but we're truly not, right? So the idea of secured signing is, how do we put greater control in place? So I talked about the edit document process after you've already uploaded the document. But let's say you've already sent the email invitation out to your clients. Well, at this point, you can still go back in. You can add and remove signers. You can add and remove signature properties. You can add documents. You can remove documents from a package. If maybe you put somebody in for personal knowledge and now you need to change it to KBA or ID verification or both, you can now go in and modify and make changes to that signing session, either before or during the signing session themselves, right? That is a key change and a key factor around the secured signing platform. Again, we don't need you to leave. We don't need you to start over. We want you to continue with what you're working on and go ahead and make those edits, make those changes that might need to be done. And I think Bill will show this later, even during the live signing session, if you forgot to add a text box or a signature property, you can add that. But outside of it, you can edit and add additional signers if one was missed. So it's kind of neat. So again, putting all those controls in your hands so you don't always have to start the process over. I don't know how we're doing on time. So Bill, I'm going to run through this. I'm just going to talk real quick about our business plan, right? And so our business plan is a month-to-month plan. There's no long-term commitment. And with our plans, they start off at $9.95 per user per month. If you go with the business plan, then we charge an additional $5 a month for unlimited video storage if you choose to store your videos with us. Okay, so a little bit different with us compared to some of the others. And again, if you are going to store those videos with us, we do store them for either 5, 7, or 10 years, depending on your state requirements, right? And then you'll buy credits in order to conduct the Ron signing sessions, which I'll go over in just a minute. But what's included in that $9.95 a month, of course, is your notarial journal. Branding. We want you to brand the site. We want it to look like you, not like secured signing. So add your logos, add your scripts, add your email domain, whatever it might be that you want to add to make it look more like you and less like secured signing. Again, we've made this platform for you to run it. Let's make those changes so again, it looks like you, not us. For that $9.95 a month, you have that ongoing training every single week, right? You have our Notary community, which I'll just talk about in just a second. You have unlimited amount of document templates that you can create. Again, unlimited amount of templated documents, as well as unlimited amount of email templates that you can create as well. Okay, no restrictions around that for that low $9.95 a month. So,
And Roger,
yeah, go ahead, Bill.
one of the key differentials is with secured signing, if you buy credits for anticipated future events, you can buy them the day of the event. And once you purchase those, they stay in your bank forever. So it's not a use it or lose it proposition. Those credits are there for your use. We don't wipe out your, let's say you uploaded $50. You don't wipe it out and you got to upload another 50 next month. No, ours is purely a pay to play sort of platform.
Yeah, that's really a key thing. So when you're purchasing credits, think of it this way. So let's say you have a toll road in your state. So let's use Easy Pass for an example. So in Easy Pass, you might have a $50 credit on your account, right? And then as you go through those toll roads, it automatically deducts from your credit balance. But if you don't use all that money, the next month, whatever you haven't used or hasn't been allocated to a signing remains in your account. You get to use it month after month. You do not lose that money. You only use that money as you're managing your signings. So that's a key point. And so when we have a breakdown of what you need to purchase in order to conduct a signing session. So every time you upload a document and a document's unlimited pages, we charge $1.50. Every notary stamp is $1. The video signing meeting starts at $5 for the first 30 minutes of the Ron session. $3 per person per check on ID verification with biometric match. Knowledge-based authentication or KBA is $1 per person per check, and SMS is 15 cents per person per text. And each additional participant is $1. So the point of that is, let's say you do have that $50 in there. We'll deduct it as you use it. If not, it gets carried over to the next month. You don't lose your money. You allocate it towards your signings. And if you ever decide to close your account, let's say you have a $50 credit that's still sitting there that you've never used, that money gets returned back to you. You do not lose it. That's a key differentiator between us and somebody else. You put the money in there as you need it. You buy those credits, you use them as you need them, right? You don't lose your money. They just get allocated to the signings that you conduct, okay?
Roger, should the notary leave your platform, what happens to their journal and the recordings? Just take those with them? Can they continue to pay for you to store them? How does that work?
So the journals are going to be stored for up to 10 years regardless, even if they leave the platform. The recordings, if they paid for us to store their recordings, we're going to store them for up to 10 years. So it could be 5, 7, or 10 years based on the state requirements, but we're still, because they've been paid for, we're going to go ahead and store those for that length of time, even if they stop using the month-to-month account.
And they'd still have access to those somehow.
They have access, yes. They can go back into secured signing, log in if they forgot their password, reset the password, go into their history file and pull all those down.
Perfect. Now, someone has a question about California, and I know it's kind of a strange situation out there for what Ron has passed and how long we have to go till it's actually implemented. But they want to know if you have any guidance on how the electronic journal piece will work there, because in California, they can only have one journal, right, at a time. Do you know how that's going to work with electronic journal? Will they have to journal separately from that? Do you have any guidance on that yet?
That process is being promulgated right now. I'm on a committee that oversees those regulations, and we're meeting regularly to refine those instructions. So it's kind of in progress right now.
I figured.
Currently, we do have a lot of California notaries using our platform. What for? For in-person electronic notarization. It's just like a RON, only you're face to face. That's allowed in California. They also use it for e-signatures and e-signatures with video confirmation. So we have a lot of California users using our platform.
Mhm. So for the person who asked this question, they're still working on those regulations, but I assume that we'll know something sooner than later regarding that. So stay tuned. And when we have an
Yes.
update in California, maybe you guys can come back and we can go through that as well.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the key features too of our platform is, as a paying customer, you can download everything. Of course, the document, the logs, your journal, the videos, your the certificate. Everything can be downloaded to your own device at any time as well, right? So you're not stuck with keeping it with us. You can control it. You can store with us, and you can store it on your own device if you want. You paid for it. You own it. It's your information. Okay, so that's a key differentiator too. Take it with you if you want. Not a problem at all.
Someone asked if the video signing meeting recording is mandatory. And you guys would know better than I do, but I believe all states require that recording. Am I correct in saying that? Are there any exceptions to that rule?
Yes, all states require you to record a session. Now, their differentiator is, like in Florida, you have to record everything from hello to goodbye.
Mhm.
In most states, it's just the notarial act. And that's something we'll go over very succinctly in class. Remember, guys, that when that recording is made, that's going to be around for 10 years. So be careful about what you say during a session, because that's evidentiary should it ever be challenged. Oftentimes, notaries in the states that require only the notarial act itself to be recorded will pause the recording until such time they begin the notarial act, open the recording. Once the notarial act is finished, they stop the recording. So you have that flexibility based on your state's requirements.
And I want to caution everyone out there that you want to be very careful about recording personal information or personal conversation, right? So
Yeah.
you certainly don't want to do anything fraudulent, but you also don't want anything, again, as Bill said, it stays around for 10 years. You don't want them reciting their social security number in there, right? Or anything that down the road could be a problem. I'm going to drop, I know someone asked about how much a signing would cost. I'm going to drop in 1 second here in the chat. The Secure guys have a wonderful calculator on their page that you can pop in and put the information. It'll give you an idea of what a signing will cost, so you can play around with that. And then the last question was, yes, you would not have fees if you buy a paper journal, obviously, in person. But again, there's a big difference between in-person notarization and remote online notarization and how that all works. So the electronic journal pulls all of that information in for you. There's very little you have to do in that journal piece, where, in person, you're logging all that information, you're writing it in, you're, storing these paper journals. And if you're a full-time notary, you could have hundreds of journals in your career. So it's sort of 6 of one, half a dozen of another when it comes to paper. All right, I'm gonna let you guys go ahead. I'm gonna drop this link in the chat, and we are good with questions.
Great, thank you. All right, so real quick, I'll just mention this and we'll move on pretty quickly, is that we also do offer what we call our notary community. Whether you want to use it as a notary or just if you're a law firm and you're paying to utilize this platform, you can always just publish your information on there, right? It doesn't cost anything to put your information in there. It could be your hours of operation, maybe your company logo, whatever you would like to use it for. I just think I'll just mention the key feature around this is that if your clients are concerned how to send you documents that you need to look at, if you publish your information, then there's a send documents link button, which is a secure way of sending documents and putting those into your account. So it really is a feature that's used a lot because clients are always wondering, how do I get a document to you? I don't want to email it. What's a safe, secure way of sending documents? That send documents link button inside of your profile is a phenomenal way to send those documents to your account. All right, almost to the demonstration. Again, I'll just kind of mention here, branding. We want you to brand the site, use your logo, use your script, your email domain, set it up to make it look like you. It's a turnkey platform. You've seen all the features that we offer, and there's more to come. This is just, I wish I could say it's the beginning, but there's just more features that we're adding to this application. If you want to use it just for an e-signature application, we can discuss at another time our video confirmation feature, which is no additional cost on that. We are, again, that ISO 27001 working on our SOC 2 here in the US. And if you want to do any type of integrations with us, we have an API guide on our site. No cost to integrate with us. We do not charge for API calls. We'd like you to integrate and make life easier utilizing your software application on your side. And then we also have something called smart tags, which we can take offline another time, but smart tags is just a way of tagging your documents in a templated format. In other words, you don't have to drag and drop boxes that you're going to see today in the manual process. And with that, Bill, I'm going to turn this over to you and let you go ahead and take care of the demonstration.
Okay.
I have one more quick question I forgot to ask. Myself as the notary, I obviously pay you for the cost of using the platform. I bill my customers outside of your platform, correct? You're not collecting that money from my customer. I'm collecting that money directly. I want to make sure the notaries are clear on that. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, that is exactly correct. We are not an accounting type software. We do not want to see what you're billing your clients. That is separate and apart from secured signing.
Perfect. So I know there's a question out there as to where the money comes from or who it goes. Your customer, whoever retains you, whether it's an individual consumer or a business or a title company or a lender, will typically pay you your fee. But you, as the notary on the secured platform, are responsible for paying those fees directly to secured, unless there's a company on secured and you're a notary working underneath them, which is a whole other topic of conversation. So notaries out there know that you are paying secured those fees, and that whoever retains you for the service, signer, title company, lender, business, is paying you. All right, that's all I wanted to make clear. You guys are all set.
Perfect. All right, I don't know how to stop sharing, so maybe, oh no, here we go, stop share. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay, yeah, now I should be able to share my screen. Okay. Okay, Marcy, can you see my screen?
I can see your screen.
Okay, very good. Okay, the example, we're going to do a very simple example of how to conduct a session. I'm going to minimize this. So you just essentially just log in with your username and password. And you can log in from any device. You're not restricted to the device that you uploaded your stamp or your digital certificate on. You can upload it from any computer that you can gain access to via the browser. Again,
now, Bill, real quick, I want to make sure. So is it best that the notary be on a computer or tablet? Are there any requirements around that?
No, as long as they've got an operating system, the notary cannot use a cell phone. The signers can, but the notary can't. So
Perfect.
PC, a Mac, an iPad, an ePad, a tablet, they can all use that.
Great, thank you.
Okay, and then at the starting page, this is of course from the Notary Ron. WeSign is for electronically signing documents as well as utilizing the in-person electronic process that is included with your monthly subscription. But to notarize a document, let's just click on Notary Ron. Again, we're trying to make this as time efficient as possible. Okay, we have a 5-step process that monitors the workflow. So if you make a mistake, you can't proceed. So that's kind of a self-help program. First, you're going to upload a document. A single document, as Roger said, can be 1 page, can be 500 pages. A package is multiple individual document uploads. Now, to upload that document, you can either select it from your local drive. If that client, as Roger said, had uploaded that document via your web page, and that the transit process, it's encrypted during transit, so it's very secure. If you're doing any business in the medical market, you must use that sort of a format. So the document would arrive in here if they send it to you via your web page. If it's a template, those templates that you created that are pre-tagged will live here. But I'm going to go right here to a document that I have in my computer, and you see all the files that we have that can be uploaded. It's a lot. So I'm going to go to my sample document file, and I'm going to grab last page of a power of attorney, and I'm going to select that's the document that I want to prepare and upload during the tagging process. MISMO is an election. If you are required by your client to use the MISMO process, you just simply invoke that and click next. Okay, again, a feature that is really cool. If you have a number of notaries in your network and you know who they are, you click here. We also have a queue feature that allows you to send a broadcast out to all your notaries. Let's say a signing service type environment. And you can create at no additional cost, included with your monthly subscription, a notary queue, meaning you could have subdivisions of your fellow notaries, Spanish-speaking notaries, notaries that are experts in medical forms or mortgage forms or construction forms or governmental forms at one type or another. So you can create an unlimited number or subsets of queues. But I'm going to select the signing for, let's say, tomorrow. Well, we're actually going to do it today. So let's say it's today, and it's 9:38 in my time zone. Let's say the session is going to be for 11:38, and I'm going to apply that. Now, because we're a global company, whoever is in receipt of this invitation, the platform will automatically convert to their local time frame. And again, this is where you would check the ID valuation that you're going to use. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to use personal knowledge and select next. And this is where I add the signer's name and email address. Once you've entered a signer, the platform remembers it's specific to you and your login credential. You can add additional signers simply by clicking additional signers. Add a witness, be that just a witness for the event or a credible witness by here. And a guest, you can add a guest. It could be an escrow officer, an accountant, an attorney, a translator, someone that will be with you in the signing, but is not going to be signing anything. And then, of course, my New York venue for today's example is going to be New York. If you were in a different county and wanted to change that, you can. Again,
Hey, Bill, how
yes.
many individuals can we have in a session total?
Total up, technically, up to 50. Honestly, the most I've ever seen is 11.
Okay, all right. So that includes signer, notary, witnesses, guests.
Right.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we had one recently where that was Jonathan Roger. He's actually in New York. He had like, I don't, 7 or so signers in 4 different countries.
Yeah, he had one signing with 7, and he had another one with 9, doing ID verification with all of them, and it went off without a hitch. It's been
Perfect.
amazing.
Okay, so we've got our signer, and this is where you fill in your notary journal. Say an acknowledgement. You put in the fee associated with the notarial act itself. And then because I personally know this signer, I'm going to have to put in their address. Had they've gone through a KBA or IDV, the platform would automatically port that data into this spot. And if you have a foreign signer, you can go down here and click other countries. So you can, if they're in Brazil, you can accept that. Okay, so I'm going to choose the US, get back to there. Again, this is one of the features and advantages of working with a global company. Okay, and I'm going to select New York. And any notes. And now I'm going to start the tagging process. Now, this is the most tedious aspect on any platform, is you're creating the document, preparing the document for execution of transactional with the signer. I'm going to make the document a little bit bigger, makes it easier to see. And as Roger mentioned earlier, we do have APIs as well as smart tags, so you can work with your client to have this automatically populated. So all you do is enter the signer's name, click next, and it's completely populated. There's no dragging and dropping. But I'm going to drag the Joe signer signature. And by my default, I say, you know, I want his printed name under his signature. And I also want the date and time that Joe signed that document. Okay, now I'm going to go down here and I'm going to add a notary signature and a notary stamp. Whoop. Now I've made a mistake. What do? I go up here, remove it. Add the notary signature. And again, I've elected not to have the date and time put in there, but you can. And if I was up to load a signature, or excuse me, initial, you would just select initial. So
So can you make a field not mandatory? Like, let's say,
oh, absolutely.
There was a way they had to check like one of 4 boxes. Is there a way for them to denote that that's not mandatory versus would be mandatory?
Yes, and that's a great question. Real quickly, we have what's called check boxes. Okay, now if it's a checkbox, like on a Patriot Act form, that you know needs to be checked, you just check it and select read only. And read only mode is just like adding script to the document. It's like writing on a document with pen. It's just added to the document. Okay, another use of the checkbox would be, let's say you had a form, common in medical forms. Have you had any of these following 5 conditions? So you would drop a text box. You go up here. Let me uncheck that. And you can add additional text boxes as well. But let's just add a couple more check boxes, not text box. Okay, let's add a couple more just by clicking on that add button. And I'm going to drag these over here. And you want to be careful not to check that. And here. Okay, now what will occur by leaving it open? Joe can select 1, none, or all. It's an optional field. Now, if it's a checkbox they must select, you're going to select a checkbox. You're going to say, okay, this is mandatory. Joe must check this. Let me undo that. And I'm going to assign that to Joe. So this can be assigned to any signer as well as the notary. But what that means is that Joe must check this box, at least that one. Okay, and I'm going to drop a date field here, which will automatically date when Joe signs it. Again, if it was a date that you wanted to create, you create it as mandatory. And then I'm going to drop a text box to enter the signer's name. Joe Signer, not Joe Singer.
Now, if someone wants to know if there's a whiteout box, let's say they receive documents and the venue and
Sure.
county is incorrect on there, how would they make that adjustment?
Okay, you could do a blur. That's essentially electronic whiteout, if you will, and drop it over New York. Let's say you were in a different Madison, a different county. Then you just add a text box on top of that and enter. What's another county, Marcy?
I'm in Monroe.
Say again.
Monroe, Monroe.
Okay. Whoop.
Or you do the Bronx, that's an easy one, Bronx.
So you just grab a text box and place it on top of the blur, and there you go.
Great. Can we go back to requirements for technology? So as a notary, we should really be on a computer and tablet. For the signer, though, they just really need the ability to be able to have an internet connection and that webcam, right? So they can be on their phone, computer, tablet. I don't know what else that would be on there, but they could use an iPhone that's,
Yes.
three iPhones behind. Like, we're just worried in a good, really for them, they need the ability to be able to see back and forth, and a strong internet connection is always important.
Correct. And another very key feature, regardless of the platform you're using, when you confirm your appointment with your signer and you send them out that confirming email, encourage them to have one browser open and just their email. It's going to increase signal strength and it's going to reduce the confusion when they go to share their screen. So it's just a good practice. Now, another feature that Go ahead.
Oh, one more quick question. So for, if you have multiple signers, do they need to have their own piece of technology, or can they share like one
No,
computer
you
or
can
one
share
tablet?
you can share one tablet.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, another real cool feature. Let's say there's a stipulation that you need to upload. Okay, you drop that in the area where the stipulation is requested to be uploaded. Let's say it's an HOA release. Okay, so you've labeled it, and that applies to Joe Signer. So this is a reminder, HOA release upload file. So that reminds you and the notary, or the notary as well as the signer, that a file must be uploaded. So that's a commonly used feature for stipulations that are required to be picked up during the middle of the signing. Okay, we're going to make an assumption that we're all prepared now. So we're going to click next. And this is your last chance to check to make sure, okay, my signing is on the 23rd today at 11:38 my time, West Coast. The document will set on the platform for execution up till the end of the month. This is my signer. I could change the signer at this point if I wanted to. I could select the language. I could change the authentication methodology used. This is your last chance to confirm all of that. So at this point, I'm going to send out this email, and that's going to go to both the notary as well as the signer. Okay. So what we're assuming right now, I'm having to move these frames around, excuse me for that, is I'm going to log in as a notary to the platform, and I'm going to go to my invitation. Here's a list of all the signings I have upcoming. So what I'm going to do is click on, under the Actions tab, Fill and Sign. And what fill means is there's elements on the document that must be completed. It's just a heads up to the notary. So I'm going to click on Fill and Sign, and this will take me to the signing room. And here's that New York acknowledgement. Now, again, this is specific to New York. If you're in any other state, this would not appear. So you're making the application that you are physically located in New York. And you acknowledge that? Okay, because I have multiple cameras, and this is a great way to practice. I have multiple cameras on my laptop, so I can use that as a practice medium, and that's gone over in our training session. So I'm going to go to the room, and I'm there, but Joe's not there. So I don't want to start this meeting until Joe gets there. So let's go now to my invitation here. And again, here's that email that you can brand with your own logo. You can create your own script. Here's a little test that you can send to your client to make sure their computer or the device they will be conducting the session on is capable and it's not behind on a restricted firewall. Also, as Roger mentioned, those videos. How do I do a KBA and IDV? Here's a video on that. How do I log in? How do I share my screen? There's a video on that. Preparation is paramountly important to a successful and secure and efficient signing. So I encourage all of you to both confirm your sessions with the call, send out an email that also confirms that. Preparation is key. But all the signer needs to do, whether they're on an iPhone, a tablet, a pad, a computer, PC, a laptop, is click here and enter that unique security code. And again, this all becomes part of the notary's journal and the audit log. So remember the code?
It was 5511.
Yeah, 5511. There we go. Thank you, Roger. Okay, now I'm going to flip in a moment back to the notary side. But at this point, you know, and because I have multiple cameras, this big pop-up occurs. Typically, all you will see is a drop down that just says allow you for use of my camera and microphone. So the notary can review the document. He can't do anything on the document, but he can look at it. So now we're going to go back to the notary side, and you can see Joe's there. So let's start this session. And what this will do is this will bring in, I've got to turn off my camera, excuse me, in the Zoom application because that's grabbing my camera. Okay. Okay, I don't use Zoom that much, so I'm trying to see. Okay, here at the top. I'm sorry. That's okay. Now I should be able to stop the video. Okay. Now I'm going to share my screen or window. Actually, one of these icons for Zoom is covering up the link that I want to click on. There we go. Click entire screen. And again, this is what's important about instructing your clients to only have one application open and the browser, so they don't have but one selection to choose. So if there's only one selection, you can't choose the wrong one. We encourage you to select entire screen. And now the client can share their screen with the notary. And at this point, on the signer side, they now can join the session because you've allowed them in. Prior to this, they can review the document, but they can't do or take any action associated with the document. And that's a camera on the side of my desk. So that's where the signer, and at this point is where you would do the typical notarial act introduction speech, confirming willingness, intent, lack of duress, and understanding the documents they're about to sign, agreeing to conduct the session pursuant to the notarial rules in the state of your state, New York, and letting them know that this session will be recorded. So we do have that script that we can send you. Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow Joe to sign. Okay, so what we're going to do now, let me move this thing it's out of my way. We are going to go to the notary side. And we're going to click on all your signers would be here. And so you select the first signer that you want to conduct. And on the signer side, they get a pop-up that displays your name as part of the branding package. And they click OK. This is a UE to e-sign opt-in. This is a requirement, and it becomes part of your journal. So again, your signer is going to share their entire screen. Okay, now the signer can sign the document. Again, you're talking to them, you're instructing them. So Joe's going to sign the document. But wait, Joe can't sign the document. Why? Because there are mandatory fields that must be completed. So it prevents Joe from making a mistake. If you recall, this one field was mandatory. These were optional. So Joe, by demand, must select this one and then an optional one of those. Okay, now let's see if Joe can sign it. Nope, Joe can't sign the document until he uploads the HOA release. If you had made that mandatory. You know, I didn't during the preparatory process, but let me move this out of the way. There we go. It's covering that up. Okay, so Joe is now going to sign the document. And you'll notice once he signs in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see a green pop-up. That lets you and the signer know that all the mandatory fields, all the signatures, all the initials are properly taken care of. So you see here, I've got a doc ID. I've got Joe's name, the date and time they signed. Now, the importance of this doc ID is that if this document was ever printed out, the recipient of that document can go to our website and confirm that indeed was executed on our site, the date, the time, and verify that the document has not been changed since it was executed. So that's kind of a cool feature as well. So I'm now going to go to the notary side. And let's say I forgot, oh my goodness, I missed a signature, I missed a checkbox, I missed a date. Anything that you did during the preparatory process, you can do live in a signing. So you can add a notary stamp, a seal, Joe's signature. You can add comments into your journal. You can open that whiteboard that Roger explained earlier. You can add another checkbox. So don't worry, if you missed something, you can add it live in the middle of the session. So now I'm going to say, okay, everything is good to go. I'm going to allow myself to sign this. Again, I going to click on the sign. That becomes part of my audit log. Again, part of the branding. And then the platform will go to the first element that you as the notary must enter. Apply your notarial signature. And you could, if you wanted to, elect that same elements, the date, time, and printer name to appear, and then your stamp with the remote online notary verbiage that's required to appear on the document. And essentially now you saw hopefully you saw that green pop-up on the right that indicates everything the notary is supposed to do is done. Now, if you had multiple pages, it would go from page to page to page. If you had multiple documents, it would go from document to document to document to document. Signer 1, then signer 2, then signer 3, and then notary. We also, of course, have the ability to do a two-part signing whereby the Joe signs in the morning, Jane signs in the evening, or Joe signs on Monday, Jane signs on Thursday. So, that's also a flexible feature of the document platform. So we've shown you a lot. Here is that snapshot feature that Roger showed you earlier. ID visual check. That allows you to bring up the ID that was validated as being genuine. So if you wanted to do an additional check to verify, do the traditional stare and compare between the ID that was validated as being genuine, the picture that was taken of the signer that was biometrically matched to the face on the ID, and also look at the signer live in session. And you can ask the signer if they like to hold up their ID as well. So, there's multiple ways in which to confirm identity. It's really very, very valuable. Okay, and to end the session, you click here. Marcy, I'm going to pause while I have this screen open to see if you or your members have any questions about what they've seen specific to the demo.
I don't think so. Anybody have any questions while we're on this page? Does Secured retain the documents that are signed?
If you so elect to do so, yes, we will store them at Amazon Web Service in an S3 bucket. So
Okay,
the answer is that's up to you, but yes, we can.
Okay, great. And I don't think I remembered asking this, or I didn't hear about it. The digital certificate, do you guys provide that, or would they need to purchase that? And then what provider, IdenTrust or someplace
Yes,
else?
right. Now that election is driven by your Secretary of States. Some states like Arizona, like Texas, like Florida, like New York, require the notary by statute to purchase their own individually issued X509 digital certificate. We have no control over that. Now, if your state does not require you to have your own individually issued, you can use our X509 certificate that tamper seals the document, and you don't need to purchase that. Does
Perfect.
that answer the question, Marcy?
Yeah, it does. Again, so we're back to state specific, but yes, that's super helpful. Thank you. I don't think we have any questions here.
Okay. Now I'm going to end this session. Yes, I really want to end this. And then this now document will go into my signed folder where I have access to my journal and all the other elements. So if there's not any further questions, I'm going to stop sharing and turn it over to Roger.
Great. Thank you, Bill. That was excellent. I'll just mention real quick that this platform does so much, and we barely even scratch the surface. We could spend 2, 3, 4 hours on going through all the features that built in this. But let me just share real quick, because I think we're running out of time. We really would love to have you try our account or our platform out. If you do decide to open up an account with us, we will give you a $25 credit, and that credit can be used towards practicing, right? So it's not costing you money to practice utilizing the platform. You can use our money instead. So up to a $25 credit in there for you to learn how to use the software. So I think that's key. We want you to learn it. We want you to figure out how to use it and keep the cost down as much as possible. We do have some other cool feature sets about learning to earn webinar. For those of you that are interested in that, I've already mentioned our Thursdays training class, which is a very advanced class. Go through a lot more again than what we had an opportunity to do for today. Again, I know we're out of time. Just if you decide to open an account at securedsigning.com, click on business and buy now. And from there, you can just follow the steps in order to open up an account with Secured Signing.
Awesome. Any questions out there? Anything we didn't touch on? Certainly now is a good time to drop that in the Q&A or even in the chat. We're happy to answer any questions you might have about the platform, or maybe even something that's state specific for you that maybe we can try to answer, or get information for you if we don't have the answer for you at the moment.
Yeah, so one of the questions real quick, somebody asked, does it cost for upload your notary stamp and your signature? No, we don't charge for any of that. If you need assistance in creating a notary stamp, help with your digital signature, we can help you with that. There's no cost to upload any of that. That's all part of that $9.95, a month. So no additional charges on that.
Okay, great. So they want to know the $25 credit, is it something that you offer to anyone that wants to try the platform? Is there anything extra required?
No, I mean, you would be responsible for the $9.95 a month, but we'll give you the $25 credit to practice. All you have to do is email helpdesk@securedsigning.com. You can email Bill or myself and say, listen, I opened up an account. I was part of this wonderful demonstration today with Marcy, and we will put that $25 credit in the account.
Okay, so that's what I need to drop in the chat for them. Is that where they're going for that $25 credit? Would they email both of you directly?
They can either email Bill or myself or helpdesk@securedsigning.com.
Yeah.
And that help desk, just as an FYI, the help desk is staffed 18 hours a day. And of course, we do have direct dial numbers for immediate help. But that's a key feature. I mean, we really encourage you. Between Roger and I, we have more years than we'd like to admit experience. I know Roger ran one of the largest signing companies for a major mortgage lender, so he's very familiar with what happens. I personally owned one of the largest signing companies in the US, been responsible for over 5 million notarial events. So we know where the bumps are, we know where the holes are. So please take advantage of this training class. Last week we had 84 notaries in the class. So you learn a lot from each other. So practice is critical to excellence.
So when they sign up for your platform, I'm going through here, will they get a notification? How do they sign up for that practice to see both the Wednesday and the Thursday? Is it something that goes out to them automatically, or do they register? How does that work?
When they sign into the platform, after they've opened an account, in the upper right-hand corner, there will be register for training. And they click on that link, and then they select the Thursday that they want to attend. And I really encourage you guys to attend those. Now, if you can't attend, much like Roger's Wednesday demo, if you register, we will send you a recording to the class that was conducted that Thursday. And also all the collateral material that was reviewed, the step-by-step processes, will also send you. So at least register. And then I know we all get assignments at the last minute, but if you can't attend, at least you'll have the benefit of access to the recording and all the collateral material.
Now, when they finish a session and the documents are all notarized, do those documents automatically get sent out to the signer, the guest, the witness? Does a notary have to push those documents out? Do they have to download them and save them and send them out? How do documents go from the platform to
It just
whoever?
depends on your settings that you put in the system. You can have those documents automatically delivered upon completion of the signing and notarization, or you can turn that feature off and you can distribute and deliver those documents to your clients, either through secured signing. There is an email button to email the documents, or you can download them and send them on your own device. So you have options. The setting at the beginning is for the notary to control the document delivery, but it's a simple click of a button to change that if you want the documents to be automatically delivered.
Okay. Do you guys have an app? Does Secured Signing have an app, or is it all just?
No apps are
Browser-based.
Yeah, browser-based. No apps are required. It keeps it easy. So your clients can join in any device, and even the notary. I'll just make this because I've learned this from other platforms. Secured Signing is a cloud-based platform, so you could be, in your state somewhere else on another device, and you can just log in on another device. It does not have to be your specific desktop or laptop that you're using. You can use any device to log in as the notary, anywhere.
The key to that is if for whatever reason your computer loses power or crashes, you can immediately sign in on your cell phone and continue the session. So you always have that backup for the signer.
Someone wants to talk about getting work, and I think it's an important thing to remember that when it comes to Ron is still a very small percentage of loan signings, right? So if that's your goal here, that's probably not going to be fruitful enough to keep you going. But Ron is really great in the general notary, right, to consumer, to business world. So the same way that you market to your clients in person, is typically what you do for Ron, but expanded. So for example, because there's no geographical boundaries for the most part, right? There are exceptions to some of these rules. You can join Facebook groups from all over the country. You can promote yourself on Yelp or Angie's List. You can put yourself out there, you know, in bulletin boards that are both online and offline. So the work comes through you just like anything else. What you put into it is what you get out of it, right? It's how much you market yourself, what you put yourself out there. I was just talking to someone the other day, and here are a couple of quick marketing tips I can give you. You know, think outside of the box. So we've been doing a lot with individuals who are immunocompromised, who are not comfortable still going out into the public, right? Individuals who are disabled, who have a difficult time leaving their home and getting out. International individuals, military, people who are on vacation. We've seen an onslaught of individuals who've gone out of the country. And, we see the unrest in the world today. The embassies are closed or they're accepting appointments 6 and 8 weeks out. So think outside of the box, right? Think about documents that you see notarized in person and you can expand on that. Here in New York, if you're in New York, I just did a whole bunch of documents for people who had unclaimed funds with the state. On notarization, super quick. It's a great way to promote yourself. So when we talk about getting work from Ron, the platforms are not going to supply you the business. It is really up to you to go out there and bring the work in. So I wanted to touch on that.
Yeah,
Super
Marcy,
quick.
I'm going to just add real quick to that. Next door, you mentioned Angie's List. Another one is the Nextdoor app.
Yeah.
Yes, that is another really good one. I use that here in my neighborhood and the work just comes. I mean, it's sometimes I have to turn it off. So it's Nextdoor is a really good one as well.
You see a lot in the Facebook groups as well. And I want to go
Yes.
back a minute to where you probably weren't maybe paying a lot of attention to this, but when these guys were talking about, hey, you can use notaries, right? They say signing services, we have multiple notaries. But here's the thing. Sometimes there are notaries who can do something that you can't. Maybe you're in a state that allows for biometrics and another individual is not. You can set up a referral program, right? So that way, if they have foreign individuals who need biometrics or they can't pass KBA, they can use your services or vice versa. Or the signer speaks Russian and your state doesn't allow for interpreter, then you can use other notaries for those kinds of things too. So keep in mind that there out there currently is a huge referral network of remote online notaries. Or if you're on here and you're in a state that doesn't allow for Ron, we still have a few of those, then you could certainly go back and forth with the notary as well, unless your state absolutely says no referral fees. And I don't know of any state that doesn't allow that between notaries per se. There's a great network that you can build up to do things, like I said, back and forth that maybe you couldn't. So here in New York, the courts really require that it's a New York notary who notarizes those court documents. So sometimes I'll get referrals from Florida notaries who'll be like, hey, my customer needs this New York notarized document. Can you do it? Again, I'm not to beat a dead horse, now we're out of time. You really want to think outside the box when it comes to Ron. That's where it'll be most profitable, right? And building relationships with other notaries here. Any other question? No, it does not work offline. You have to have a good internet connection for Ron to work for you. Am I correct in saying that, you guys?
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of those things, right? So that's another thing is where we talk about Ron being wonderful. There are some times that Ron does not work well. If you've got an individual someplace that isn't a great internet connection. I had someone who was in Brazil. They were having horrible storms there. So we had to jump on 3 or 4 times in order to get it done. So keep that in mind. There has to be a good internet connection. Any other questions, concerns, comments? This was wonderful. I'm always so grateful that you guys come on and talk to us about all of the things. Obviously, we'll record this. We're going to put it on our site. We'll send out the link to everyone tomorrow. Everyone who joined us today, great questions. Really appreciate you all. I always want to put out there that it's amazing that you guys take time out of your day to make sure that you're building your business and your brand and really learning the ins and outs. I will say this too. I email Bill and Roger, primarily Bill, all the time. And he is a wealth of information. I've never gone more than a few hours without him answering. He's been wonderful. So I'm going to say they're probably one of my favorite platforms in terms of just general commentary, getting more information. These guys have a wealth of knowledge. Please know that they're super accessible. They're the ones I would go to if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and end. Thank you all so much again. We will see you soon.
All right. Have a
Thanks,
good one, everyone.
everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Bye.